So day one, you 21K. Day two,
Day two, I made 75 bands. So 21 to 75.
doing the same thing. Just
But my approach changed this time. Mexican life out here, you know?
Yeah. So tell me just about yourself. Where you come from. Your come up, trading, how you got introduced. Just simplify it, but definitely don't leave out the important details.
Yeah, definitely. Well, my name's Jose. Most people know me as JL. I'm from Queens, New York. I actually now reside in Orlando, Florida. I've been trading for about 9 years now. I would say the way I came about learning it, just watching a lot of the guys online and all that. I remember back in the days when I was in college, I was looking for ways while I was playing baseball to make extra incomes. And we always spoke about when we were kids, how would we, what would we do if we were millionaires, or what we want to do, how can we make money? And trading stocks, say for instance, the general aspect was one of the ones that I always said I wanted to do. So I learned about Forex because I didn't need a lot of money, and just really through trial and error, just trying to learn and earn and do all these different things. And in the end, for me, it was all it took was I put $100 in an account, and I made $150 in like 5 minutes. I didn't know what happened, how it happened, anything. I apparently caught a move during a news event on USD JPY. And in that moment, I was like, I got to figure out what I did and how and why. And so from that point on, that's actually how I learned and dove into it, Yeah,
I feel like that's how a lot of people come. Don't let me cut you off, but like that's how a lot of people come up. They just come in, they make some money, and they're like, "Wow, like I can do this." What? I mean, after that, obviously, there's a lot more trials and tribulations. But once you make some money, it's real. Nobody can take that away from you. So that's something to focus on for people that are struggling. If you've made money, you can make money again. You just need to focus on what you did right.
Yeah, and I've always had the perspective that if I lost money, it was kind of like my tuition to the game. Yeah. I've always paid attention to the reasons why things didn't play out. I never got too excited when I made money. I always got more focused and zoned in to why I lost money. You understand? So fast forward around like 2016, I started my own little academy. It's called True Profit Academy. One of the ways I learned about you was through one of my former students who became like one of my good friends. And, through...
Bring the mic a little. Yeah. It's got to be like, for it to be good, it's got to be like right on your lips.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I brought one of my friends from Australia on board, and he actually introduced me to your profile. And, I've always been a big fan. I mean, we're both from New York. We're young. We're ambitious. We take pride in what we do. And overall, I'm always about like supporting good people. I feel like in the end, it comes down to just showing love. Showing love and bringing that good energy. So back to the Forex thing. Fast forward, I've been doing it full time for 6 years. I stopped educating people just because I have 2 kids. And I've been trying to like figure out how to balance everything out where, we are ambitious, but we're also present. I feel like that's one of the big things. So I stopped doing that. And, I've been just kind of like just focused on my craft every day. Back in December was one of the largest flips that we spoke about. What was it? Yeah. I turned $2,000 to like 160,000.
And how long?
4 days.
Closer.
4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
4 days. Wait, that was 4 days.
Yeah, I
didn't realize.
I was on like
super close. On your lips. Yeah.
Hyper scout mode. I was just trading Nasdaq. Nasdaq's what I trade mostly.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your mindset, like with that. So you deposit $2,000. You're like, what's your mentality like with this? Like, what was your goal and what were you trying to accomplish? And then, as it was happening, like, how did that change?
Well, I knew at the end of the day, in all reality, all I was gonna lose was $2,000.
Right.
And that's it. That's really it. Every time I took a trade, I understood that what I made was what I was able to lose on the next trade.
Right.
Because in reality, for me, what I feel like I focus on is at the end of the day, breaking even is a great day trading. If you can get out of the market and not lose $1 of yours,
a majority of people are losing. So if you're not losing, then you're doing better than the majority.
Exactly. So for me, that's always been my focus. Now I'm not gonna lie to you. There were points in time where I was kind of like conscious of it, like, oh, yo, I'm up 10 grand, like, oh shoot, but in all reality, what I was just doing was focusing on, I knew where the trend was going, price was going up. And so every time one of the candles pulled back, I got in, closed, got in, closed, got in, closed.
Just hyper scalping.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, but what was the strategy behind that? Was it just price action? Were you using
straight price action?
No indicators?
I don't really like to use indicators. Anytime
you don't use any at all?
No. I just understand the structure of the market and where the market is going.
What time frames were you looking at? Like 1 minute time, like scalping time.
I'm very big on the 2-minute chart.
Okay.
The 2-minute chart eliminates kind of like the noise of the 1 minute, and especially on Nasdaq. Nasdaq's like real jumpy, like very wicky, So
what time of day were you trading?
I started around like 6 a.m. during the day. Right before like the volume kicks in. Okay. And
Eastern time, 6 a.m. Eastern. Okay.
Yeah, Eastern
That's
time.
when you start scalping.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I would say like I finished like probably day one. I finished like around like 1 p.m. Like I was sitting there, bro. Like if I send you guys a picture of my chair is fucking burnt out like on the bottom because I was just like fucking. I was challenging myself really. I wanted to end the year on a bang. And really just, I'm always about elevating. You understand? Like trying to set the bar higher. And like, I really just focused on that, really. And, but you asked me earlier, what was my primary focus on the chart, like how I was able to do it. I understand two things. So sometimes for me as a trader, I don't pay attention to the wick so much. You understand? I pay attention more to the open and close of the candle.
The bodies.
Yes. For me, anytime the price, say for instance, there's like a resistance or support level, like a key one, right? We call them what? Supply and demand zones or liquidity areas, right? Everyone has their own terms. For me, I try to keep things very simple. I remember back in the days when I was doing network marketing, we used to say KISS, right? Keep it stupid simple.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or stupid, simple, same shit.
Yeah, So like I literally try to apply that in the charts. And I just focus on the open and close of the candle. So say, for instance, the market transitioned from a downtrend to an uptrend. I really focused on just when that candle closed, if it closed higher than the previous time it was at that price, then I'm good. Because now I know I got like kind of like a few points away. Right. Now,
so what again, I always cut you off, but what a typical scalp on during this flip, what was the duration? How many points were you catching, and how many points were you risking? Were you using stop losses? Kind of like what were like the mechanics? As crazy as it sounds,
I don't use stop losses.
I mean, listen, you don't have to. Yeah. I mean, you can easily get burned, but you don't have to use stop losses.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, there was a few trades that went wrong on me, but it was like in all reality, I get up, wash my face, and get back, recalibrate and go. But each trade probably was like 1 to 2 candles. Sometimes there was
like 5 minutes each.
Yeah, sometimes there was even some trades that were like instantly, as soon as I entered it, I'd see $500-$600. Boom, yo, it's $500, man. And I feel like that's
just greed on chill, bro.
Yeah, like while most people may focus on the profit, that we made a lot of money. For me, it was more like just humbling myself and reminding myself that, like if you can make $500 in 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours, that is more than what people make in a week.
Yeah.
Like here in Mexico, most people don't know, they make that in probably a month.
Yeah, I mean that's why I like traveling and put myself in different environments because, you just the things you see here you just don't see in other places. You don't really see a truck full of 30 motherfuckers like going to like just every day going to work for 12, 15, 16 hours a day in the sweltering sun. Just to like live, just to get by.
Yeah.
When people in the United States have taken for so everything for granted for sure. Like,
never complain.
Yeah.
Complain about it.
Right.
People over here,
right.
they gotta do what they gotta do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. So hold on. I actually just want to finish. I feel like we still have. I want to touch on. All right. So the first day, each day, how much money did you make? Like roughly, like what was the flip like the duration of the flip?
Day one, I turned $2,000 to 21,000. Once I had more than $21,000 in the account, I knew in that moment, now I can play real ball. You understand? So for me, it was like, the way I looked at it was, you know, we trade in a market and with brokers that give us leverage, right? So for instance, I have a rule which bites me in the ass sometimes, but I don't get caught up on the drawdown. I always focus on the chart, right? So there's times where I trade and I'm not even looking at MetaTrader. You understand? I'm looking at TradingView, or if I'm on MetaTrader, I just remove the terminal where it shows it, because I have this little panel that kind of like manually closes all my positions if I have multiple positions, or like automatically puts a stop loss at break even. So once I got to that 21,000 threshold, on day two, I completely changed my approach. Now at that point, I was focused on protecting my capital, focused on just really, setting myself up, because in all reality, what my goal was to try to do 2,000 or 50 grand. I was trying to do it in 5 days. It was like a mental challenge. I've done it before. I once turned 10 grand to 120 grand in a month. And like, that's what helped me quit my job, and like really dive into trading as a full-time, kind of, it's not really full-time, right? But where I became dependent off of my profits in trading. Right. So I wanted to redo that again, but this time not focusing on the money.
So day one, you 21K, day two?
Day two, I made 75 bands. So 21 to 75.
Doing the same thing, just...
but my approach changed this time because I was more focused on getting in and out as fast as possible.
Just making money quickly and just securing your profit.
Yeah, because like most entries I was taking were going in maybe like, it was about, like I was maybe seeing like on NASDAQ, maybe like a 5-point drawdown at most.
Right.
The minute I saw it go like 10 points, it was over for the trade.
Right.
Gone. Close it.
So just having a very short, short outlook, like very little attachment to it. Hey, if I'm 10 points in drawdown, I was wrong. Simple as that. Like this was a bad trade. Okay, so 75K. So the balance was 75K. You was at 95,000.
No, we were at 75K.
75K. Yeah. Okay, so day three was what?
Day three, from 75, I got to 134.
Okay.
134.
And so you started trading like pre-session, and then you would trade all the way through New York into
day two and day three. I was finishing maybe like at 11.
Okay.
Because at that point, again, my mindset was still at the end. These are just numbers. I'm only losing $2,000 if I lose here.
Right.
You understand?
You can't be attached to profits that because at the end of the day, like at that point you hadn't withdrawn. It doesn't matter if you haven't withdrawn anything.
Yeah, on day three, I withdrew 35
$2K went
grand.
in, and still nothing has come out in terms of net, profit or loss.
Yeah, on day three, I withdrew 35 grand.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I left my balance at I think it was like 100 flat, and that's when I ran it up from 100 to 160,000. But something important to mention about this whole thing, in the midst of that, I was overcoming like a mental battle. I made like in October, I fucked up. Like I completely like fumbled the bag, and I lost like 50 grand in the markets, and like I became very impulsive. So when I was doing this little challenge within myself, I really was focusing on not even thinking about my impulsiveness, any mistake I made. It was just being present. You understand? So for me, I took out 35 grand because it was like, okay, I'm gonna reward myself. You understand? When we got to that point, that's when I turned 100 to 100. I made like 60,000 more. And again, the key thing for me, how I was able to scale up the account so much, was every trade. Say for instance, the first trade I placed when I put the $2,000 in was a 5-cent lot on NASDAQ, which is like almost like a $5 lot, right? And then with every trade, I went up 1 penny. So once I started kind of like getting the ball rolling, I started increasing the lot size by 10 cents.
Yeah, of course.
So now at this point, I'm seeing larger profits for shorter moves, obviously, and that's kind of like how I scaled up.
You just got to continue to I mean, that your goal was not to be a, you know, strict risk management type of like, you came into it saying like, yo, let's see what I can do. So, you know, naturally, and withdrawing money is the best thing you could possibly do when you're flipping an account.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it keeps you in check. You realize like, hey, this is real. Like I have money coming out, and you also, it gives you confidence because you're like, well, I put my 2K in, I got 30 out, I'm netted 28,000 at this point. Well, not much could go wrong at this point. You know, I'm in good position.
Correct.
Even if I lose everything, I'm still up. You know, so I think that's really important. And also, like when I've been, you know, done my flips as well, I just withdraw along the way. Like you just have to. There's nothing else you can do. You know, so like that's the only way that you can be successful. Because if you're flip, and then you flip it all back down, bro. Eventually, it'll happen. Like doesn't matter who you are, how good you are. You're gonna have a losing streak. It's gonna happen. So while you're hot, you're going to have a losing streak and you're going to have a winning streak.
100%.
Like, so you got to be there. When you take advantage of a winning streak and you're confident and you're on point, bro, like the fucking sky's the limit, you know?
Yeah, but I've always been a big fan of that. Like, no lie. And maybe this can help somebody that's watching this. But like, even when I lose money, I try to take out, even if it's $100. Like, I've always tried to take money out so that at the end of the day, say I lost $2,000, I got $100 sent to me, $500, whatever it is, whatever you can possibly do. It just makes the losing different because there's a lot of people who are obsessed with having a whole bunch of screenshots of profitable trades. And me, I'd rather have screenshots of Bitcoin or crypto coming in as deposits into my wallet. You know, like I've always said, and I can't remember who said it online, I seen online, but he said, I want to be a professional withdrawer. I don't want to be a professional trader. And at the end of the day, that's why we do it for money, right?
That's all that matters, bro. It's press and withdraw. It's all that matters. Yeah. So, yeah, cool. All right, let's pass it over.